Birthdays. Announcements. Rabbi usually talks about his late request. Add this. It's hard to forget. Holiday singers. Excellent, excellent. Shabbat Service. Yes, yes. And do you have a watch on? Yes. I think we're ready.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la
Shabbat Shalom. Very nice to have you in the sanctuary this evening. Rabbi usually starts out. We are without Rabbi. This is the beginning of his 3-month sabbatical. So this is going to be 3 months of women. Women will lead service. Women will do the Devar Torah. Women will cantor. Women are taking over, so we're going to let Rabbi know just how efficient and talented his women are in his congregation, right? Tovu Vracha, good and blessing. There's always something. Could be little something, could be a big something. So do we have any Tovu Vracha from anybody? No? Nobody? Oh, very good, Paul.
To visit with my sister up in Iowa and my sister-in-law. We had a road trip from Iowa to Texas.
Nice.
So, it was great to see the family. Good, excellent.
Surviving the heat, and it's only going to get worse from what I hear. Right? Yeah. But we're surviving and we're going to do just fine. Yes. Anybody else? Yes, Richard.
So I got a call today from one of my oldest friends from graduate school.
Yeah.
Goes back to the 70s. And he's going to come visit in a couple of 3 weeks.
Nice. Where are you going to take him?
We haven't decided.
Second that.
Yet.
Okay. Very good. And it's nice to have Casey with little Mackenzie and Sampson back. We haven't seen you in a little while, or at least I haven't been here when you've been here. So it's very, very good to see you guys back again. And of course, our regulars and all. And I think we've got, I remember Davis and Gisette. That's pretty good for me, though, to remember. Yes. So thank you for being here tonight. And is this Silverman? No.
My family.
This is your family. I don't think I've ever met them before.
Riley, Jason, and Maya.
Riley, Jason, and Maya. I'm glad that you're here. It's good to meet you. Very good. All right. Lighting our Shabbos candles. Helena, would you be my Shabbos candle lighter? Do you want the little one to light it with?
Is it not up there?
No, but we've got matches and everything, and if you can get the hurricane lamps on, then yes. Right. If you will turn to page 1 in your Siddur.
In the beginning, when the Spirit of God hovered over the darkness, God's first creation was light. As we kindle these Shabbat lights, we attest to the majesty of God's work and rejoice in its beauty. Light is a symbol of divinity and creative goodness. It is the outward sign of that inner spark which God has granted each of us. In hope and with love, we now welcome Shabbat with light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Praised are you, Adonai, whose presence fills the world, who hallows us with mitzvot and inspires us to kindle Shabbat lights.
May God bless us with Shabbat joy. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Amen.
So we'll be doing Lechur Renanena.
Page 2.
Neranena. Lechur Neranena, Lechur Neranena, Lechur Neranena, Ladonai. Lechur Neranena, Lechur Neranena, Lechur Neranena, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yishenu, Likad Mavanav Todah. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yishenu, Bismirot Naria lo. Lechu neranena, Lechu neranena, Lechu neranena, Ladonai. Lechu neranena, Lechu neranena, Lechu neranena, Ladonai.
Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and our deliverer. Come, let us enter God's presence with praise. Let us praise a shout for God in song. For Adonai is supreme, the sovereign over all beings. Page 3, sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth exalt. Let the sea and all within it thunder. The fields and everything in them exalt. Then shall all the trees of the forest shout for joy at the presence of Adonai. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the earth justly and its peoples faithfully.
Next is Or Zarua. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ulishvei lev simcha. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ulishvei lev simcha. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ulishvei lev simcha. Ulishvei lev simcha. Or Zarua, la tzadik, ulishvei lev simcha. Ulishvei lev simcha. La 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 la.
On page 5, Psalm 99, we'll read together. It is you who established equity. You who works righteous judgment in Jacob, exalt Adonai our God and bow down towards God's footstool. God is holy. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down towards God's holy mountain. For Adonai our God is holy. Page 7, Lecha Dodi. Richard and Dawn, would you please do the doors when we get to the end? So we're Lecha Dodi, we're welcoming the Sabbath bride to our midst so that we can have a peaceful and renewing spirit. Okay.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Dodi likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibur echad, ishmianu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet ve'letila. Lecha dodi likra kala, Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Likra Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, mehirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maase b'machshavat tehila. Lecha dodi likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoriri, ki ma'orech kumi ori, uri shir daveri, kevod Adonai alachik nigla. Lecha dodi likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. Bori v'shalom ateret balav, gam besimcha u'betzorchola. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה. לך דודי likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela. לך דודי likra kala, nei Shabbat nekabela.
So come in peace, you crown of your husband, with rejoicing and with joy. To those who are faithful, a treasured people, come, O bride, come, O bride. Page 8, a psalm, a song for Shabbat. Everybody? It is good to give thanks to Adonai, to proclaim your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, to your faithfulness each night, with a harp, with voice and lyre in unison. The righteous shall bloom like a palm, they thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Chatzi Kaddish, page 9.
יתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה במרור. Amen.
Please stand for the Baruchu. We're on page 10.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach leolam va'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Ma'ariv Aravim, page 11. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chokma p'tleach sharim, v'v'kuman she'etim, u'ma'ariv et hazmonim, u'm'seder et hakochavim, v'mishoteh, gorei yom v'layla, goled or mipnei shoshet, v'choshet mipnei or, u'ma'avir yom u'me'id layla, u'ma'adil ben yom u'me'id layla, Adonai Sabaoth Shema, Elchai v'chayam tamid lo, aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hamevorach. May God govern us always to the end of time. Praised are you, Adonai, who makes evening fall. Ahavat Olam. Unending is your love for your people, the house of Israel, Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts you have taught us. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws, and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life and the length of our days. Then your love shall never depart from our hearts. Blessed is Adonai, who loves the people Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam.
Please be seated. Via Haftarah 13.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבדך ודיברת פעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I would like this time to read the English translation on that. We don't do that very often, and I think it would be just a nice little change. You shall love Adonai your God with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your being. These words which I command you this day shall be upon your heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand. Let them be a symbol before your eyes, and write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Be mindful of all my mitzvot and do them. So shall you dedicate yourselves to your God. I, Adonai, am your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I, Adonai, am your God. True and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good, and beautiful is this eternal teaching. This truth we hold to be forever certain. Adonai is our ruler, the rock of Jacob, shield of our salvation. Adonai, our God, you redeemed us from Egypt. You set us free from the house of bondage. For this, the people who felt your love sang songs of praise to you. Living God, high and exalted, mighty and awesome, who humbles the proud and raises the lowly, who frees the captive and redeems the oppressed, who is the answer to all who cry out. All praise to God Most High, the source of blessing. Like Moses and Israel, we sing this song of rejoicing.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh pele, nora tehilot oseh pele. Malchutecha ba'uvanecha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe, zecher li anu ve'amru, ze eli anu ve'amru. Adonai himloch olam ha'el, Adonai himloch le'olam le'olam ha'el. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh pele, nora tehilot oseh pele.
Ashkivenu, page 16. Grant that we lie down in peace, Adonai, our God, and raise us up, O sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war, famine, and anguish. Subdue our inclination to evil, O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign. Give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. Guard our coming and our going, that always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God, whose sukkah of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. All rise if you can in body or spirit for tefillah.
Adonai shefatai tiftachu fi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Yitzchak. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah v'choshia, mechayei chaim v'chesed, mechayei hakol v'rachamim rabim, somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, umatzir asurim, umekayei emunato. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei haron. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'koshim l'kol yom v'lasera. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. Which one are you going to do tonight?
The Shamru.
The Shanru. It is then. We're on page 21.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
But say, Adonai, our God, show favor toward your people Israel and lovingly receive our prayers. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable, for you alone do we hold in reverence. Modim. We give thanks to you, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation for all generations. We thank you and recite your praises. Let all the earth affirm you and praise your name as the God of our salvation and help. Praised are you, Adonai. Goodness is your name. All praises to you. Shalom Rav. Thank you.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדום, לכל השלום, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם.
Before I let you do your silent meditation, there is a prayer that's a favorite of mine. I have a few women that I study with, and we say this prayer at the end of our study session. I think it's a very nice one to put ourselves in perspective. Holy One, give me a quiet heart and help me to hear the still, small voice that speaks within me. It calls me to come close to you and to grow in your likeness. It teaches me to do my work faithfully, even when no one's eye is upon me. It counsels me to judge others kindly and to love them freely, for it persuades me to see divinity in everyone I meet. Help me, O God, to come to the end of each day, feeling that I have used its gifts wisely and faced its trials bravely. I need strength, humility, courage, patience, strength to control my passions, humility to assess my own worth, courage to rise above defeats, and patience to cleanse myself of imperfections, and wisdom to learn and live by our sacred teachings. But let me not be discouraged by my failings. Let me take heart from all that is good and noble in my character. Keep me from falling victim to cynicism. Teach me sincerity and enthusiasm. Endow me with perception and courage that I may serve others with compassion and love. Take a few moments for your own silent meditations.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Don't go too far, right? So like I said, women will be taking over the Bema this next few months with Devars as well, our little in place of Rabbi's sermon. And so this first evening, our cantor, very good, Tanya, has volunteered to do a little Devar for us. And so Tanya, you just take the podium.
It's kind of weird from this vantage point right here. So at the end of Brene Brown's popular podcast, Dare to Lead, she asks the question, what is the lesson the universe just keeps putting in front of you that you have to keep learning and relearning and unlearning and then relearning? This week's Torah portion, Beha Alotcha, say that 5 times through real fast. This week's Torah portion is that lesson. We receive instructions on Passover celebrations. We read lessons in leadership, cloud watching, and the dangers of disproportionately wishing for the past. We also learn the power of the spoken word and just how far back in time we as a people have been learning, relearning, unlearning, and then learning again, lessons in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So to summarize, in case you didn't read it this week, God speaks to Moses, describing the menorah for the tent of meeting. The Levites are appointed to serve as assistants under Aaron and his sons. Those who are unable to celebrate Passover during Nisan are given a time in the month of Sivan to observe a second Passover. A cloud by day and fire by night shows God's presence over the tabernacle. When the cloud lifts from the tabernacle, the people leave Sinai, setting out on their journey tribe by tribe. The Israelites complain about the lack of meat, and Moses becomes frustrated. God tells him to appoint a council of leaders. God provides the people with meat and then strikes them with a very severe plague. Like, here you go. Miriam and Aaron talk about the Cushite woman whom Moses has married. They also complain that God speaks not only through Moses, but also through them. Miriam is struck with leprosy, and Moses begs God to heal her. After her recovery, the people resume their journey. So what's striking about this parsha is just how packed it is with drama. The cloud and the fire over the tabernacle, Moses's intense conversations with God, and Miriam's harsh punishment for speaking out against Moses, all against the backdrop of the journey. We see a sort of different personification of God in this parsha too, one that may be contrary to some of the 13 attributes to which he's ascribed, like compassionate, gracious, slow to anger. In this parsha alone, Moses has to negotiate multiple times with God to quell his anger. Or is his anger a reflection of just how out of line the Israelites' complaints were? Complaining after so many blessings, their stunted memories forgetting the many miracles they had experienced, being freed from Egypt, for example. So misguided our ancestors were in that moment that they preferred slavery to what they were experiencing. God didn't break character, he was building character. Another thing is building in this parsha. Not to spoil the plot for next week, but there's a story developing here that's important to point out. Beha Alotcha sets the stage for the Israelites' entry into the land of Israel. It precedes Shalach, next week's parsha, during which Moses sends 12 spies to the land of Israel to report on the inhabitants in the country. Despite a positive report, the people are still frightened. God threatens to wipe out the children of Israel, but relents when Moses intercedes on their behalf. Sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. To punish the people, God announces that all of those who left Egypt would not enter the land of Israel except for Joshua and Caleb, 2 of the original spies. You know, the good soldiers. More complaining, more threats, more negotiation, and more lessons. All of these events feed into a common narrative that we endorse today. Quit your kvetching. Trust the process. at least when God's in charge. Even Moses breaks down in this parsha. He tells God, "Why have you treated your servant so badly? Why have I found so little favor in your sight that you lay all the burden of this people on me?" He goes on, "Was it I who conceived all this people? Was it I who gave birth to them all, that you should say to me, 'Carry them in your lap,' as a nursemaid carries a baby, as Casey carries Mackenzie? I cannot bear all this people alone. The burden is too heavy for me." How many times have you said something similar in frustration? When Moses earnestly told God that the burden was too much, God assigned 70 elders to help him. What happens when you express your truest frustration? And to whom are you expressing them? How productive is it really when we complain? It depends on who's on the receiving end of your complaint. In a democracy, the people are in control of their fate, or at least that's how it should work. The lawmakers are the appointees who move the needle for us. We as Americans get a chance to affect change through voting, through advocacy efforts when something tragic happens, or simply when we want to change. We can use our voices to connect with lawmakers and make change happen for the betterment of our community. But the key is to connect directly with the people in charge of making it happen. In Moses' case, when he told God it's too great a burden, he got help. It isn't kvetching when it happens like that, not when your intentions are pure. Which brings me to Miriam, who seemingly gets a harsh punishment for sharing her thoughts about Moses and his choice of life partner. It's not a crime to dislike your in-laws, right? What was particularly harmful was the indulgence in the words she shared with Aaron, who she tried enlisting to support her. In sharing her true, tough feelings with Aaron and not Moses, those words did nothing to improve her lot in life. They only caused harm. Maybe God punished her because she didn't come to him with her complaints. She withheld her truest self from him. Did Miriam really deserve such a harsh punishment, though? Leprosy and a 7-day isolation from the people? And why was Aaron spared from the punishment? It's important to remember that Miriam was not exactly a rule follower. She never has. When she was a little girl, she worked alongside her mother, Yocheved, the midwife. Together, they defied Pharaoh's decree that all Jewish baby boys must be killed at birth. When her mother placed Moses in a basket on the Nile, it was Miriam who hid in the reeds and watched what happened next. She also arranged for Moses to be nursed by his own mother. And after the Exodus and the splitting of the Red Sea, it was Miriam who led all the women and girls in song and dance. Miriam was a leader, a revolutionary in her own right, and a protective leader of the Israelites. She had a right to use her voice as part of a triumvirate of family leaders, but her mistake was that she withheld her true self from those who could actually do something with her complaints, God or Moses. How often do we withhold our true thoughts for fear of offense or retribution? How often do we self-reject, convincing ourselves that it's just better to stay quiet rather than speak our truth? As the world around us rages on with its wars and divisive political issues, the micro-focus on protecting one's rights, the obsession with documents and laws written by men who couldn't conceive of the world we live in today, and the nihilistic insistence that there's nothing we can do about it. Yes, some really bad ideas are swirling around, but there are also some really good ones too. And much of it is due to the agitators, the revolutionaries, the Miriams. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Pride Month. I'm going to go over a timeline that's really recent, and it's shocking that it's so recent. So it's all within the last 20 years. In 2003, sodomy laws in the US were deemed unconstitutional, just 19 years ago. In 2004, Massachusetts became the first US state to legalize gay marriage. In the following 6 years, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Iowa, and Washington, D.C. would follow suit. In 2010, the US Senate repealed the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. In 2011, New York State passed the Marriage Equality Act. In 2015, the US Supreme Court declared same-sex marriage legal in all 50 states. That's just 7 years ago. None of these acts of history would have been possible without the tremendous voices that came together to advocate for equality. Remember that we are all Miriam. Like the ancient Israelites, most of us in this room have wandered this desert of a world for more than at least 7 years. Okay, well, a few months maybe, but some of us have been around for about 40 years, right? Or more. And like Miriam, we are tired and wondering, what can I do to make this world a better place? Every single person in this room is a leader. Every single person in this room has the power to affect change. In each person here, there is a voice, and with that voice, you can do amazing things. But first, we rest. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Tanya. Very nice. Yay, women. Okay. Casey is our officer, Casey, head of education, head of High Holy Day music, and little Mackenzie just comes with her. That's just the deal,
She's
right?
head of Casey's.
She's head of Casey. There was an extra.
Got it.
Okay, very good. And there's a, thank you.
I'm so sorry. She just farted right into the microphone.
That's okay.
It's going to happen again. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. As you, I'm sure, can tell, Rabbi's on sabbatical. So after missing out on his last opportunity, thanks to COVID shutdowns, Rabbi left for his sabbatical this Monday. He'll be out of the office until August 28th. The ritual committee has been working hard to make sure that we have all the services covered and to be here for all of your religious needs. While it won't be quite the same, we are hopeful that we could fill in while Rabbi is out recharging his batteries. Reach out to Bob in the office while he is gone. He should be able to help you with whatever you need. The annual members meeting of CKA will be held on Sunday, June 26th, which is in just a couple weeks, at 10 a.m. here in the sanctuary. This is also a call for member proposals to be submitted to the Secretary, Michelle Tell, no later than June 15 for review by the board prior to the annual members meeting. Please contact the office with any questions or concerns. Believe it or not, High Holy Days are coming up again, and CKA needs your voices for the High Holy Day choir. We're looking for new and returning members. This year will be a mix of soloists and choir pieces, so there is a lot more flexibility with singing, rehearsals, etc. No experience needed. You don't even have to read music. Thank you. Just a willingness to volunteer your voice and time. Please email me or just talk to me if you're interested in joining. First Friday Shabbat dinner. Please note that the first Friday Shabbat dinner will be on the second Friday. Oh, that was weirdly written. July 8th, since the first Friday is part of the 4th of July weekend. And we have 2 volunteer board member positions that we'll be looking to fill for next year. If you're interested, please reach out to Paul or Steve Ducar, or you can nominate yourself during the annual members meeting on June 26th. These positions are the VP of Building and Maintenance, which is just ridiculously important, and VP of Fundraising. All levels of experience are welcome and encouraged to participate. As always, you can find all the specific details for these announcements and anything else you might need on the congregation website. Here at CKA, we like to keep people in our thoughts if they're in need of a little extra help or healing. Does anybody have a name that they'd like to add to the Misha Bayrock list? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Laura Johnson.
Thank you.
Corey Shipman and Mark Shipman.
Thank you. We would also like to include in our thoughts Harry Anthony, Joyce Bloom, Natalie Bovino, Sandy Cook, Mark Davis, Francine Feingold, Michelle Griffith, Carol Jones, Molly Kalig, Deb Kaufman, Toby Kennedy, Lauren Koenig, Alex Koenig, Gianna LaMonica, Deb Ledden, Matt Levin, Phyllis Lorelli, Shirley Lunsford, Paul Redwood Jr., Sandy Garber, Ruben, Bruce Sari, Andrian Sandler, Myra Schusler, Dale Seaver, Megan Sharkey, Happy Waterman, and Clayton Kirkwood. And you can find the Misha Berach on the back of your pamphlet, I think, or page 40.
Before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
We'll all stand, turn to page 82 for the Elenu.
I don't remember.
We open the ark now, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's good. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Thank you.
עלינו לשבח נגון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נותן שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו וגוהם מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ולמלכנו את תשובתו, כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום מהשבות אל בגדה. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, והשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ, מתחתינו אין עוד. ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
אחד. We recall with love and gratitude the names of those whom we have recently lost, as well as those whose anniversary of death occurs this week. Oh my. I have no yard sites for deaths in the last week. Does anybody have, so is anybody observing Shiva? Has anyone lost a loved one in the last 7 days? And then Shaloshim, someone who has lost someone in the last 30 days. Has anybody still observing?
Children involved.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And the yard sites this week, we have Ann Crone, Dr. Eric Fisher, Jamie Grumman, Jeanette Kowarski, Lorraine Lee, Joseph Delbert Roseberry, Raymond Shape, Lena, and Harriet Zelinsky. Are there any other yard sites being observed this week, having lost a loved one at this time in years past? Thank you. Please rise for the mourner's Kaddish on page 85. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah be'alma divra dirte v'imlik malkute v'chayakon uvyomakon uvkayedabot Yisrael bagala uvisman kariv v'maru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarak le'olam amen. Maya. Yit barak vish tabak v'yit pa'ar v'yit maman v'yit say. V'yit hadar v'yit halei v'yit halal shemei dekudashah barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damin ran be'amal v'maru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'kayin aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'maru amen. Oh, say shalom b'mamav, Uya say shalom, Be'kol Yisrael, B'maru, amen. May the one who causes peace on high cause peace to descend on us and upon all Israel, and let us say amen. Do we have a closing song? Okay. Do we have that on a page? Yes, page 99, number 15. Is that right? Shabbat shalom, everybody, and let's go have a little kiddush.